Mercury will be in retrograde from July 18th through August 11th. Now, this retrograde this time around, okay, is not going to feel as harsh as the last retrograde in Pisces. However, you know, we are in heavy retrograde energy, so I'm sure, you know, we all probably will get some energy confused with Mercury. The retrograde that is going to kick us in the butt will actually be Saturn retrograde, which is also happening right now as Mercury is in retrograde. Okay, hooray, hooray. However, Mercury itself is not going to be so harsh. Okay, Mercury is not going to talk to many other planets while in retrograde, so we are fortunate enough to have at least that. Okay, there are two aspects that happen while Mercury directly to Mercury while Mercury is in retrograde. Okay, there's a conjunction with the sun. All right. And then at the beginning of the retrograde, there is sextile energy to Venus. Okay. So it's not, you know, it's not any terrible aspects or things that, you know, not square energy, right? There's no square energy to this retrograde. It's just sextile, which is opportunities that will present themselves. That's not good or bad. It's just opportunities, period. And then a conjunction is working together with the sun. The sun is coming in, you know, and shining a light on Mercury, and we got to figure out what that is. Okay, so there's really only two aspects that we really need to worry about in Mercury retrograde. Hooray! Now, Mercury retrograde is going to bring opportunities, right? Because every retrograde has its purpose, okay? So this retrograde, Mercury being in Leo, is going to bring opportunities to kind of refine your creative activities or the things that you do, the things that you take pride in, how you think about things. This could be how you perceive things, like how your mind can be a bit dramatic, or, you know, how your mind can be creative, how you can refine that energy. Okay, it can be around how you've shown up to communication or how your logic is processed based in ego and pride, opportunities to kind of reflect, restructure, or repair energy as it relates to how you communicate, and, you know, the pride that you communicate in, the ego that you communicate in. Okay, this will bring opportunities for us to reflect on, repair, restructure, energy around us showing up as if we know everything, right? We have all the answers. We just know, because Leo energy, my pride, my ego, I just know. I'm wrong, though. You're wrong. What are you talking about? You're wrong. I'm right. It's opportunities for you to kind of take a step back and change your perspective. Okay, so this is the energy of Mercury retrograde in Leo. Okay, those Leo attributes, which is pride, ego, charisma, creativity, drama. All right, and how your mind is processing based on those attributes, right? That is what's coming back to us in retrograde. So let's jump right into the signs. Again, I'm going to do my whole spiel. This will be most accurate if you look at this based on your rising sign, okay? Because this will encompass where this energy will show up in your life, okay? But if you want to look at this from your sun or your moon sign, your sun sign would be in relation to your perspective, your focus, your attitude, your ego, and your pride, okay? And if you're looking at this from a moon perspective, this will be reflective in like your home, your internal security, your instincts, and your intuition and your emotions. Okay, so that's how you will process it. But your rising sign, right, is most accurate to understand where or what will be popping up. Okay, so let's jump right in. Virgo, so Mercury is going to be in retrograde in your 12th house. Okay. And that is going to be in the realm of Leo for you. So Mercury is going to be retrograding through your house of imagination, subconscious, illusion, delusion, desire, self-sabotage, illness, sickness, self-sacrifice. This is a trick bag house. Okay. This is that emotional house that is ruled by Pisces. All right. So very mystical, whimsical, behind the scenes, spiritual, watery house in a fire realm, right? So these energies don't even really mesh like that. It's water and fire together, right? So this is kind of like how you operate, right? How you operate, Virgo rising, within your subconscious or your imagination, and how your pride kind of, you know, helps you to skydive into illusion or delusion or self-sabotage or self-sacrifice. Or this is kind of like your perception, right, of yourself versus what it is that you want. This is, I don't even want to say your perception of yourself, but how it is that you act, right, as it relates to yourself, right, and how that is backed by your imagination. All right. The fire signs are about our actions, the things that we do, right? So Mercury in Leo, right? Your mind, your actions, your perspective as it relates to your actions, and how your imagination plays a part in that. That's what Mercury is going to be working on for you, Virgo. All right. So retrograde is going to be relatively short. It's only 3 weeks and it only has 2 aspects. Praise them. Okay, only 2 aspects in those whole 3 weeks. All right, we already have enough going on. We already have enough on our plates with Saturn in retrograde, Neptune in retrograde, Pluto in retrograde. We already have enough. We already have enough. Okay, so fortunately, Mercury is not going to do too much. All right, so let's jump into the aspects. On July 18th, okay, Mercury is going to have sextile energy with Venus. Okay, so Venus is in your 10th house and Venus is in Gemini. Okay, Venus is in Gemini, which is your 10th house. So this is your perspective, like creative actions around your ambitions, your goals, your reputation, the power that you have, the influence that you have. This is like creative, your perspective as it relates to creation within that realm of life. The peace that you find there, the creative endeavors that you choose to go after, or the things that you choose to focus on, right? There's an emphasis here. Venus is collecting information on that. Venus is like, I want to provide love, peace, and abundance, relationships, happiness, joy. I want to provide it all. Right? And how do we do that? Right? How can we do that? Venus will then have a conversation with Mercury in your 12th house of your imagination, your desires, right? Your illusions, your delusions, right? So Venus is like, oh, you know, they have this accomplishment to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Let's make it work. Let's make it work. Who do I tell to make this work? Right? Venus is trying to have a conversation. She's like, Mercury, I see you over there in the house of imaginations. What can you do for this person here to help them achieve their dreams of being a CEO of a Fortune 500 company? How can we do this? Because this is going to provide peace. This is what they really want in a career. And Mercury is like, yeah, the way that this person interacts with their imagination, I don't know. I don't know if they're so aligned to get there just yet. I don't know. You know, Venus is like, but they want it. They want it so bad, right? And Mercury is like, but I'm looking at their perspective as it relates to their imagination, and it is not helping, or it is helping, right? Or it is, right? It could be either or, right? And I'm using don't because we all have, every single person on this earth has self-sabotaging habits. All of us, okay? Nobody is excluded from this, right? So I use the oh, we're going to need to work on something, because typically that's the energy that pops up. Okay. So Mercury is in that 12th house, like, this person is illusioned a little bit. They got their illusions in their mind don't support this, right? Because they also, I see that, I hear you in their ambitions and their goals and wanting to, create, be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but in their desires, they also want, they want to be baller shot caller, Jay-Z, they want to be, on them corners. They got desires there too. How's that gonna work? I see if we do give them this Fortune 500 CEO job, they might get paid a little bit more money, but there's substance abuse here. I don't know that those two things are going to work. So now Mercury is like, okay, well, I hear you, Venus. I see all this stuff happening in the imagination. However, I'm gonna have to make something happen and kind of adjust their energy so that they can kind of look at this, so that they can make ends meet, because you can't have this and that at the same time. I don't know. So Mercury is going to pop up some things from your past. So maybe, but you have desires to be a Fortune 500, CEO, but prior you are online making disparaging comments because you mad at something, or you're in the energy of thug life, or you're online making. And now we're going to bubble up some instances where you get these, I'm going to keep it light, right? You get these reminders on your phone of like a screenshot of something that you posted, or somebody send you a screenshot of the disparaging comments that you have online. And it's like, oh, well, if I want to do this, how would I ever? Well, maybe I should go scrub my online activity, because I don't necessarily think me trying to go down this path. You see how that retrograde pulls back that past energy. The actions that happened, Mercury, the actions that happened in the past that they did, how they were thinking, yeah, it don't quite work, right? They fell into self-sabotage here. Let's figure out some ways how we can fix this right now in order to get them to go forward on this path, Venus. That's the conversation that's happening on the 18th. So a lot of us are going to have things pop up as it relates to that. Then on the 31st, okay, because now Venus is in that 10th house, right? Venus is like, look, this is what they want, right? Oh, they just want to be a Fortune 500 CEO. Like, let's just provide it. It's going to provide peace, love, happiness, and abundance, right? But Mercury and the Sun was just there, just there on May 30th, okay? So Mercury and the Sun met right where near Venus is. What? Right near where Venus is. I feel like that still don't even sound right, but you get what I'm saying. So Mercury and the Sun already was like, what's up? How you doing? Okay, we see that they want to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but you're not applying to no jobs. And the Sun might have clicked on that flashlight. So are you going to apply to jobs or what? So now as the Sun and Mercury have made their way past that 10th house of Gemini, because they was already there May 30th, right? Venus is there. It's like, look, they trying to be a Fortune CEO 500. I don't know what I just said, but you catch what I'm saying, right? They trying to be a CEO. And Mercury's like, okay, so have they started applying to jobs? Venus is like, yes, let's bring it to them. Let's bring them peace, love, abundance, and harmony. And now the Sun is coming to meet Mercury in this 12th house. And the Sun is like, look, dog, Mercury, look, we was just talking in that 10th house of ambitions, right? And we saw that this person wanted to be a CEO. We saw it and we shined the light on, applying to jobs at that point. Because like, how you gonna do that if, you're not applying? How you gonna get it? It's not gonna find you. You gotta do it, right? So now that was the first conjunction. Maybe you should start applying to jobs. Mercury and the Sun are talking. Then now we have this second conjunction. Mercury and the Sun are gonna talk again. Now Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury feeling kind of funky. Now Mercury's like, this 12th house is junky in here. There's some things in here. They got hoop dreams, they got football dreams, they got, you know, they got substance abuse up in here as well. And how are they going to do this? So now the sun and Mercury are now talking again, and now you're going to see things pop up out of your 12th house. So these are things as it relates to your imagination, your illusions, your delusions, and how that plays a part in, you know, this conversation between the 12th house and the 10th house, right? How your subconscious, right, is playing a part, and how it is you move in your ambitions and your goals, right? So you're going to see energy that pops up as it relates to how you possibly are self-sabotaging, how you are veering down the lane of illusion or delusion, right? You want to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but you've never in your life had a job. How you gonna do that? Where's it gonna come from? How we gonna start doing it? Illusions and delusions, right? So there's an emphasis there, right? Your goals, your accomplishments, right? And how your subconscious, right, your pain, your past, your self-sabotage, your illusions, your delusions, and the courage that you have around that, or how you fall into your pride and ego around that, or how your charisma works because of that, how that plays a part in your overall journey within your career, and them talking to one another in your subconscious, okay? Now, after the 31st, that's it. Retrograde ends. August, what did I say, 11? Retrograde ends. That's it. Easy breezy. Now, Mercury is easy breezy, like I said before. Saturn is tearing us up. So I'm glad for this reprieve, because Saturn is whooping us. Okay? Saturn is whooping us. Saturn is whooping us, but I digress, okay? Saturn will be the next video that I drop. Stay tuned for that one, because that one is a doozy, okay? I hope this reaches you well, Virgo. Jump right into